I continue with the story. We have reached Act 3, and on the advice of his old servant Adam, Orlando escapes in the night from the clutches of his brother. He had no money, so Adam had bought out some of his little own and said, I have 500 crowns, the thrifty hire I saved under your father, and laid by to be provision for me when my old limbs should become unfit for service. Take that, he said, as a gesture of kindness, and comfort me in my old age. Here is the gold. All this I give you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, I will do the service of a younger man in all your business and necessities. Orlando is touched by the gesture of old Adam, and he says, O old good man, how well appears in you the constant service of the old world. You are not for the fashion of these times. We will go along together, and before your youthful wages are spent, I shall light upon some means for both of our maintenance. So together then this faithful servant and his loved master set out, and Orlando and Adam travelled on and on for miles together, uncertain what course to pursue, till they came on the outskirts of the forest of Arden. And there they found themselves in the same distress for want of food and water that Ganymede and Elenia had been. They wandered on, seeking some human habitation, till they were almost spent with hunger and fatigue. Adam at last said, O my dear master, I die for want of food. I can go no further, and then laid himself down on the grass, thinking to make that place his grave, and bade his dear master farewell. Orlando, seeing him in this weak state, took his old servant up in his arms and carried him under the shelter of some pleasant trees, and said, Old Adam, rest your weary limbs here, while I look for food and water, and please do not die before I come. So Orlando comforts his old servant and then sets out to look for some kind of a human habitation where he can find something to survive on. Orlando then searched about to find some food, and he happened to arrive at that part of the forest where the Duke was, and he and his friends were just going to eat their dinner. This royal duke being seated on the grass, under no other canopy than the shady covert of some large trees. Orlando, whom hunger had made desperate, drew his sword, intending to take their meat by force, and said, Forbear and eat no more, I must have your food. The duke asked him if distress had made him so bold, or if he was a rude despiser of good manners. On this, Orlando said he was dying with hunger, and then the duke told him he was welcome to sit down and eat with them. Orlando, seeing him speak so gently, put up his sword and blushed with shame at the rude manner in which he had demanded their food. Pardon me, I pray you, said he. I thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore I put on the countenance of stern command. But whatever men you are, that in this desert, under the shade of melancholy boughs, lose the neglect the creeping hours of time. If ever you have looked on better days, if ever you have been where bells have knolled to church, if you have ever sat at any good man's feast, if ever you have eyelids, you have wiped a tear, and know what it is to pity or be pitied, may gentle speeches now move you to do me human courtesy. And so Orlando pleads to the Duke without knowing that he is the banished Duke that he is intending to meet, and therefore demands food for him and his old servant Adam.